Hey guys, welcome to Bonehead Truckers. Do I look out of place? I know I do. I was wearing a jacket today, I had my shirt tucked in, and it all had to do with you guys and what we're doing, okay? And I got a message from that meeting, okay, to all you guys out there. But first, let me tell you about what this video, the title and all that has to do with, and that has something to do with Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels, Governor Greg Abbott of the state of Texas released a statement today, and he's basically telling people he's directing the DPS to enact a zero tolerance enforcement of these federal safety regulations across the board, like the English proficiency. Whether drivers are operating across state lines or only within Texas. Now that's huge what he said, okay? Because if you guys have been following my channel, I've been talking about how in the state of Texas, if you're trucking intrastate, it doesn't matter if you speak English or not. Well, Governor Abbott says he is directing DPS saying, hey, we're going to enforce the English language in the state of Texas, and it don't matter if you're interstate or intrastate, you're supposed to know English. That's a good thing. At the governor's direction, the DPS commercial vehicle enforcement troopers and inspectors will conduct English language proficiency reviews of all commercial license operators on Texas highways. These evaluations are a critical measure to ensure drivers possess the necessary communication for skills for the roadway safety and compliance with federal regulations. Since June 25, 2025, following Donald Trump's executive order directing full enforcement of English proficiency requirements for commercial vehicles, DPS and partner agencies have taken taking actions against approximately 445 commercial drivers in Texas for English proficiency violations. Governor Abbott has directed DPS to cease issuing intrastate commercial driver license for drivers that cannot speak English sufficiently to communicate with department personnel. Now this is huge. It's huge because Hot Wheels is finally sitting there talking about it. He's finally talking about it. After being silent, having wrecks after wrecks in our state of Texas, he's actually doing something about it. It's coincidental that this happens only just a couple days after someone who's running for governor in the state of Texas, Pete Chambers, actually said this.
We must demand an immediate audit of our trucking industry to root out the systematic abuse of illegal alien and foreign national drivers, many with fake commercial driver's license, hauling our sensitive freight with no accountability. This is not just an immigration issue. This is a national threat. We've seen cases like the one in George West, Texas, where 25 illegal immigrants were found suffocating in a truck bound for Houston. This is happening regularly, and it's past time we say enough is enough. Our leaders in Austin have been silent, even complicit, as Texas has become a sanctuary state. They've resisted federal partnerships, defunded border security, and even petitioned the federal government on behalf of foreign truck drivers. We deserve better, Texas. I'm calling on a full audit. If elected, I'll ensure that Texas prioritizes the rule of law, secures our border, and protects our people. Together, we can take back our state and make Texas safe, strong, and God bless Texas.
After tweet of not just me, but other truckers just bugging this dude, making videos, all of a sudden, his political counterpart says something, and he's going to say something finally. Now, here's the deal that I have with this. And you guys are probably already know, and you're probably on my side when I sit there and say this. You could go and sit there and make all these statements out in the public and press releases and all this kind of stuff. You can do that. You can make them all. You can do. But what are you going to do? It's got to be enforced. It's got to be enforced. The reason why. You want to know the reason why there's so many people being pulled over? And it shows violations. It didn't say out of service, right? That's what I'm going to say. It's because Texas has so many. Compared to all the other states, Texas is the worst. Texas and California and Florida are the worst for non-domicile CDLs. They're the worst at a bunch of drivers that don't speak English. Okay, and how does that affect you? It affects your freaking money. It absolutely does, and it affects the safety out there on the road, 100%. And so I'm gonna sit there and say this is all a bunch of hey, look at me kind of stuff. Let's make a press release. That's all it's going to. When I actually see some changes, when I start to see the bad numbers go down and the good numbers go up in the state of Texas, then I'll start believing it. When you have someone like Pete Chambers that is actually strong and bold sitting there saying that he's going to make trucking industry changes in the state of Texas. Because listen, we're responsible for a lot of stuff, our state is. You can sit there and say, point the finger at Gavin Newsom or this guy right here. Let me tell you guys something. It's happening in selected states like California, Texas, Florida, Illinois, Ohio. I mean, all these states, Oregon, all these states are bad about it. And Texas, it doesn't matter if it's a red state or a blue state. I'm just sitting there saying it's a border state. And people coming in from Mexico, okay, running under, it's crazy. I will talk about that in another video, and I've already talked about cabotage and all this stuff in other videos. But let me just say, the reason why I'm wearing what I'm wearing now, I'm in Oklahoma City. I got invited to this kind of a meeting of the minds with the federal government was there, the local state government here in Oklahoma was there. You had company owners for small to medium-sized companies and companies up to 1,000 trucks, okay? And they were there talking about exactly what we're talking about. And you drivers have been sitting out there talking about how you have not been paid that well. And it's like, man, we need the pay to go up, right? And the reason why you have not been able to get raises is because these foreigners coming in to the trucking industry, complete fraudulent CDLs, okay, with no training whatsoever. You know, these guys, say if you're wanting to run for 60, 70, 80 cents a mile, these guys are going to run for 20 cents a mile. That's no joke. And guess what? They can afford to do it because their family isn't in another country. And that's the reason why rates suck. That's the reason why it sucks to be an owner-operator right now. And it's the reason why it sucks to be in the trucking industry. The only people who's making money out of all this is these foreign companies, okay? These foreign drivers and the brokers. It's just the way it is. And I will prove that. I just got to get the slides and stuff that I saw with the actual numbers on there. But that's where I was today. And my message to you from the owners of these companies is that they are working hard to stay in business. These guys are having a tough time. And it's not just one or two. You remember Carol Fulmer went out of business, and amongst others this year. Some of these companies are on the verge. And these are known companies. I'm not going to name them. I'm not sure if they want me to name them. But they are known companies. Owners of these companies were there, and they were begging for their voices to be heard by the federal government. Now, the government officials, senior officials of the U.S. DOT, they were there. Okay, let me just say, there's work being done, and there is a movement, a grassroots movement going on right now, and I'm so happy that I was invited to it. Okay, that's what I was, because I don't run a trucking company. I do marketing for TRC Freight. I do Bonehead Truckers, but I kind of represent you guys, the drivers. Okay, because I see drivers all the time. You guys, come up, shake my hand and all that, and you guys are fed up. You tell me in the emails, you tell me in the comments of these videos, you guys are fed up. You're going broke. It ain't what it used to be. And then I get emails from victims of people of these wrecks, these widows, and it's sad what's going on out there. But I was so happy. To be involved and be invited. I will say American Truckers United was fronting that. I will say that. American Truckers United and other companies there. Listen, I'm just so happy to have the seat at the table. Okay, I'm humbled by it. I'm humbled to, to be able to hear the voices of company owners. A lot of companies, a lot of you guys work for. Yeah, they were there. And they're fighting for you guys because they're fighting to stay in business. A lot of these guys have lost a lot of money in the last couple of years with all these illegals, all these foreigners coming into this industry and taking your jobs, taking your loads. These are the people. And so for any of you guys that are sitting out there and sitting there saying, stop picking on the foreigners, they're just trying to make it. Dude, aren't you trying to make it too? This is America. This is not India. They're coming over here and stealing your freight. How come you don't get that good load going out west? The reason why you always stay, east of the Mississippi or east of 35 is, and you can't make no money doing those freaking little short hops, So I'm spending all this time at the dock. The reason why? Because if you go out there on I-40, you go out there on I-70, you go out there on I-10, okay, I-80, all you're going to see is a bunch of foreigners. All you're going to see is running out there. That's all you see. I'll go out there and prove it one of these days. I'll go take an expensive road trip. Yeah, it costs a lot of money because gas is expensive out there. And I'll show you. I'll show you what you're missing out there. Okay? It's sad. And these companies are getting together. There is a grassroots movement. It's really starting to move. And there is ties into the executive branch of the government. Not only that, state government, and senators, state senators, state reps, and then you go to the federal senators and federal representatives. There is some movement going on. The fighting has only begun. I'm just sitting there saying, and I'm happy to report it. I'm here to basically, I think that the main reason why I was there is to report to you guys that this is happening. Some things are happening, so don't give up. Don't give up. And let me just also say this one thing. If we get rid of, non-domicile CDLs and just get rid of them, they can do it by a stroke of a pen. They can do it. The federal government can do it. If they could get rid of this, our next fight is automation, because there's a push to that too. Okay, and that's an uphill climb as well. But first things first, get the foreigners out of trucks. Okay, get them out of trucks. That's, there's no two ways about it. If you're an American citizen, you're driving a truck, okay, and you're an American citizen, and say you came from a different country to come here, and you're an American citizen, you did it the right way, I don't care. I don't care. You're probably happy now, right? But if you're over here and you're hauling these loads for dirt cheap, you're hauling for these companies that run these solo or these team loads, and you're doing solo. I've actually known drivers that have left certain particular companies that I am very close to go to work for those Chicago outfits, just for the fact that it's well known that they doctor their logs. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Gone long enough. Hot Wheels, if you're ever watching this video, which I'm small potatoes to you, Hot Wheels, enforce it. You can sit there and talk, enforce it. That's the main thing. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. I don't think Hot Wheels listens to me. I know who does listen to me though. Pete Chambers, Dr. Pete Chambers, and I appreciate it. He's fighting for the truckers. Vote for him for governor. Again, he's the only one really making a stand. Because, listen, I don't trust Hot Wheels fresh and shake a stick. I don't trust fresh. Anyway, that didn't make any sense. Okay, it's time to cut this thing off. I appreciate everyone watching. Bonehead Truckers, we go.